All right. Well, welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn discussion. My name is Corey Miller, and I'm the Executive Director at the Cabbage Patch, and I'll be serving as your host for today's session. So this afternoon, we are going to be focusing on the College Scholar Program, and particularly our important partnerships that we have. These relationships are really vital to growing our Scholar Program. And to that end, you will be hearing about one of our newer and exciting partnerships. You've heard from them a little already, Bellarmine University. And so speaking of Bellarmine, just want to offer a special welcome to members of the Bellarmine team joining us today. Hello to Brooke and Jordan and Joshua, and of course, our board member, Dr. Mike Marshall. It's great to have you all here. So our presenter today is the talented Ms. Brandi Giles, Educational Opportunities Manager, who leads the College Scholar Program. And so without further ado, Brandi Giles.
Thank you so much, Corey. I appreciate that. I'm going to share my screen here. So like Corey mentioned, I'm Brandi, and I am the Educational Opportunities Manager here at the Cabbage Patch. And I also oversee our College Scholar Program and am also the coordinator for our Postsecondary Partners. I'm really excited about this topic. I love creating new partnerships with new schools because it really helps our kids out. And also thank you to our Beller friends, a term I coined earlier in our relationship. And I tried to wear my Bellarmine t-shirt today just for you guys. It's a little bit low though. So I'm really excited to have you guys. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about our College Scholar Program, just for anyone who isn't already familiar with what it is and what it's about. So the College Scholar Program at the Cabbage Patch, it's a holistic scholarship and mentorship program for our kids who graduate high school and enter college. The program includes for our kids a scholarship, and we prepare our kids for college with years-long college prep that begins as early as middle school. We do frequent check-ins and personal support for our kids. Going away to college and even getting a scholarship is not enough for any college student, but also especially for the kids that we work with who often come from difficult backgrounds. So we make sure that we are there for them personally and are able to help in any way that we can. We also provide remote and in-person homework help. We, in the education department, we know how much academics contribute to a successful future, and we don't stop helping with that, even in college. And we also assist during hard times. COVID has, created many hardships throughout the nation, and that hasn't escaped a lot of our college students. When it hit hardest in 2020, we were traveling a lot, off getting care packages to students who were kind of stranded. So it's a holistic program. We help in any way that we can for our kids. A few College Scholar stats. Let me get that out of the way. So currently we have 33 kids in college. We have 27 that are full-time students pursuing their bachelor's degree. We have 2 part-time students. We have 4 graduate school students, and we're really excited about that number because I think it's the highest in graduate school that we've had since starting the program. Our average GPA for our kids is about 2.75. Definitely so proud about that, especially since COVID made things so difficult. And we had 8 college graduations in 2020, and we are expecting to have 6 coming up in 2022. We had 8 in 2021. And our kids are spread out. They are at 14 different schools in and around Kentucky. So post-secondary partners are, like Corey said, extremely vital to this program. They allow our kids to have a group of options for college. And that's extremely important for kids who sometimes grow up without the automatic expectation that they'll even enter college. It's not something that they often are expected to do based on their background. So we inundate our kids with the knowledge that not only will you go to college, but here are some great options for you to choose from. Our school partners, they allow us to lower the cost of attendance for our scholars. Many of them offer scholarships to our kids that are exclusive to Cabbage Patch scholars. It's really important to have communication that is open with post-secondary leaders at our partner schools, because it allows us to effectively solve problems for our kids. And also, having post-secondary partners allows our kids to have kind of a behind-the-scenes look at college life. Many of our kids, by the time they're actually in college, have visited multiple college campus several different times. So they kind of know the life, they're comfortable with it, and they know people on campus who they can go to if they need anybody. And finally, exposing our Cabbage Patch members to colleges in and out of Kentucky once again makes it feel more possible for them to one day enter college. So it's all about making college a real possibility for Cabbage Patch kids. So in return, we provide our post-secondary partners with increased minority retention. Our college scholars are 98% African-American, and because of the extra support we provide, they are more likely to not only stay in school, but graduate in 4 years with a viable degree. Also, our kids have a higher GPA on average than the average minority students throughout the country. That sits at about a 2.69 GPA, and our kids, as I mentioned, are about 2.75 on average amongst the 33 of them. We offer our post-secondary partners a steady influx of college-ready kids. And as I mentioned, we provide our own scholarship to the kids to offset the cost of attendance for our kids in our post-secondary partners. And of course, we are cheerleader and advocate for our post-secondary partners all day. We attend events, and we are always there to represent our school partners. So now I'm going to talk about the 5 schools that we currently have some kind of partnership with in a little bit more detail. So JCTC is a partnership that we entered into really more formally this year. We have had multiple tours of their facilities here, Corey, myself, Megan, and we know people there. And the dean of the technical school has personally give not only us tours, but also our kids tours in the summer. We have currently 2 kids in attendance at JCTC. They do not provide a scholarship to us, but with FAFSA grants in our own scholarships, they typically do not need to pay anything in tuition or even really books or supplies. Some of the perks that we really receive from this school is direct communication with financial aid and admissions. That's extremely helpful because college can be daunting and mysterious to kids when they first enter it. And being able to get problem solved and questions asked directly from the people who can help is extremely important and helpful. This is the school where many of our scholars, even if they attend other schools, will come back in the summer and they'll take classes at JCTC. They're usually faster, easier, and cheaper for our kids so they can make up for a class or graduate early. This school allows us to use space on campus for other events. We're going to have our company retreat there in just a few months. And also, JCTC has involvement in our teen leadership program. If you see to the bottom left here, there's a picture of a young lady. She's cutting drywall. And that's because we were there this past summer for our teen leadership camp. And children there learned automotive skills and also how to cut drywall. And this young lady is saying that she's going to be charging her family $20 to fix any cracks in the walls because now she knows that skill. And now I'll talk about UofL, our neighbor down the street. So this partnership has been in the works for quite a long time, and it sort of became more formal in 2022, 2021. So we currently have 2 scholars in attendance there, one in graduate school, and we have a new freshman on the right. That's Navaria. She's starting her freshman year. From UofL, we've been guaranteed a last dollar scholarship to scholars who transfer from JCTC. So JCTC already has a program where people who transfer to UofL can go there for the same costs that they spent at JCTC. So now our kids who transfer from JCTC will receive that last dollar, no cost to them scholarship for tuition. And also, very, very excitingly, we have a Carl F. Pollard Scholarship there. That scholarship has already been established at UofL for a long time by Mr. Pollard, but now our children receive first pick for that scholarship. Navaria is a Pollard Scholar, and she is very excited to have her tuition pretty much covered, room, board, and also she has money for books and supplies. So it has been a true blessing to receive that Pollard Scholarship. Some additional perks, of course, we can have campus tours. We have direct communication with campus leaders, access to college prep materials from the admission staff, and they also come to do presentations at our team leadership program. And as you can imagine, being so close to us, we happen to receive a lot of volunteers from UofL. So I'm excited for that partnership to grow and to have more Pollard Scholars. So University of Kentucky, we began that partnership in 2011. So it's our oldest scholar partnership with a university. We have 10 University of Kentucky students currently. That number became a lot less. As you can see on the screen, we had 3 UofK graduations in 2021, and the one in the center, Juju, that actually happened a couple of years before, but it's a great picture, so I always like to show it. So UofK provides scholarships between $5,000 and $15,000 a year for our kids. This changed from the last dollar scholarship that they provided before 2020. Our 2020 high school graduates were the last to receive a last dollar scholarship from UofK, and now everyone there does receive an additional funds from UofK, but it's not covering everything. Some perks that we receive from UofK are direct communication with financial aid and admission staff. I mention this a lot because communication with people who can help our kids solve problems quickly is so valuable, almost as valuable as scholarships. So we love that. Also, our campus tours there tend to be really involved since we've been partners with them so long. So we stay overnight there, and the kids kind of get that sort of inclusive college experience. So that's UofK. And Simmons. So we don't have a formal sort of on the paper partnership with them, but we're really excited to sort of have something more formal coming up here soon. We have one student there, Jordan, who is in her graduation year over here. She is receiving a scholarship for Simmons through a third party where her living is being paid for through this stipend. So students who go there can receive between $5,000 and $20,000 just to cover living expenses, because Simmons is a type of institution where tuition can be paid for rather easily, but living and having an apartment and food to eat, that's where kids can struggle. So we have somebody who's able to pay for that. So Jordan is in good shape. And still, although we don't have anything formal with Simmons, I have the cell phone numbers of key people in the admissions department and also financial aid department. So I'm still able to have a really open communication with them. And also they have events that we plan to go to in the school year just to expose more kids to that school so that they can also have the type of living stipend that Jordan does. and attend an HBCU if that is their choice. And finally, our partner spotlight, Bellarmine University, go Knights. I'm going to describe our partnership with Bellarmine a little bit, and then I will invite our guests to speak a little bit more from their perspective about why they entered into the partnership and what they hope for in the future. So I'm going to describe our partnership now. So this began formally in 2021, but we've been in talks for quite a long time, starting in 2020. It's been so long that we started this partnership that I actually met Mike and Lauren, who's in the admission office, in person. So that's how long that we've been talking about starting a formal relationship with Bellarmine and Cabbage Patch. So we finally have a MOU agreement. We do not have any current Bellarmine Knights, but we went on a campus tour this past summer and it was amazing. And we have many people who are excited to become Bellarmine Knights. So Bellarmine has pledged a last dollar scholarship to two scholars every year, which totals over or nearly $45,000 a year. So that's something that is going to cut down the cost majorly to attend the university and make a private school education possible for many of our kids. So we're really excited about this. So we get many different perks from Bellarmine. We have a Bonner Scholar who's going to be from Bellarmine. She's going to do tutoring in our education department, and the cost for her is being paid by Bellarmine. They have involvement in our programs and direct communication with Brooke, Jordan, and Joshua. I saw Joshua the other day. He actually toured the Cabbage Patch. So we are having a really great relationship with key people at Bellarmine. And of course, Mike Marshall, Dr. Marshall is on our board. So Bellarmine has been great partners for us. And so now I'd love to invite Brooke Burnett, who's the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Partnerships, Jordan Weabrink, who is the Dean of Admissions for the graduate school, and then also Joshua Williams, who, as I mentioned, he joined us on our tour and he works with Brooke in the partnership office. You guys can unmute and tell us a little bit more about why you chose to enter into a partnership with us and how you feel about it so far.
Thanks, Brandi. We love your t-shirt, by the way.
So thanks. I got it on the campus tour.
That's good. And thank you for inviting us today. I appreciate you all having us. We're excited to be here. So just to give you a little bit of background and insight into the history of the partnership and its inception. In 2018 here at Bellarmine, that's really when we started to have discussions on creating the framework for our strategic plan. And then one of our priorities as part of that was a commitment to working with different community partners. But more specifically, though, we really wanted to identify those partnerships that also shared in our vision for supporting that same educational, social, and spiritual growth, particularly for those that feel like a quality education and experience is out of reach for them. So it was really quickly apparent to us that Cabbage Patch was a leading organization and also having that same vision for empowering, advocating, supporting, and just helping that success for those that we serve. So the College Scholars Program just seemed to be a really natural fit, and here we are.
Thank you so much, Brooke. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to one day meeting in person. Wouldn't that be great? So now I'm going to go into a little bit about some of our goals for post-secondary partners. So obviously, as I mentioned, having options is really important. So that's why we want to expand our network of post-secondary partners. We want to establish more relationships with schools in and around Kentucky. We want to maintain really positive relationship with our current school partners and have them have a steady influx of prepared scholars. And we want to have more year-round events where our schools are coming to the Cabbage Patch and exposing more of our kids to people in high places at different colleges around them. So these are a few schools that we'd be happy to enter a partnership with. And finally, if you're here, then you might want to know how you can help support those goals and initiatives. So a Cabbage Patch supporter, if you have a connection to a school, a staff, or you know someone who does, if you let us know, then that connection could roll into a major opportunity for some of our kids. So name dropping is not only welcome, but encouraged. If you know someone, that would be great. And we can start laying a foundation with other schools. Obviously, contributing financially to the Scholar program is extremely helpful and allows us to fund more and more scholars each year. You can sponsor scholar gets-togethers near college campuses. Susan and Chip Snyder always take UK students out to eat, and that makes the kids feel special and connected to the campus and with us. So it's something that we can do anywhere that we have a school partner. And of course, if you have if you'd like to mentor a student who went to your alma mater, then that's something that we can arrange as well. All of these things could be really helpful to the program. And finally, I wanted to highlight David Wood. So David, I think, had to step out early, but I wanted to mention him because he has been so instrumental in so many of these partnerships. David got us connected with, I believe, 3 key staff at schools that are currently our partners, including Bellarmine. So thank you so much, David, for leveraging your connections to big opportunities for our kids. You're amazing. And in closing, let me stop sharing my screen. I just wanted to mention that Postsecondary Partners are a vital and key part of our mission to ensure that every child that comes to the Cabbage Patch has the ability to succeed in college. Postsecondary Partners provide scholarships, connections to the campus, familiarity with college life, and they also help support our kids while they're on campus. And all of these things are driving our mission to make sure that college feels really possible for kids from the Cabbage Patch who come from troubled backgrounds, or kids in general who are Cabbage Patch members. So thank you so much for listening to the presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions at this point.
Brad,
Brandi,
go ahead.
Yes, Brad, go ahead.
Okay, yes. Brandi, first of all, wonderful presentation. This is a very, very impressive program, and you've outlined it beautifully. Particularly excited about the most recent relationship with Bellarmine. And also, you've identified a number of other Kentucky colleges and universities that might be in the mix in the future. What about outside of Kentucky? Is there any consideration to developing partnerships with any schools outside of Kentucky? Are there roadblocks that I wouldn't think of to those relationships?
Thank you so much, Brad. So we'd love to have conversations with colleges outside of Kentucky as well, because so many of our kids are starting to look sort of outside of our borders just for their own reasons. Maybe there's a personal, like a program that they really need, and better at another school or something of that sort. So, for example, we went to Nashville a couple of college tours ago to visit Fisk because I wanted to expose them to more HBCUs, and a lot of them, connected with the campus and with the city, and so we have two Fisk scholars there. And also our Tennessee State, we visited them, and a lot of kids kind of put them in their plans as well. So even though I think it's important to keep talent in Kentucky, and I love that, obviously we want to support our kids wherever they want to go. Roadblocks would be out of state costs are far more expensive, and it's far more difficult to ask a college to, pay $20,000 over $10,000, obviously. So when we're talking about out of state, we're talking about higher costs for our kids, which goes into loans. And that's something that we don't want our kids to have to do because it's hard to pay for, as we probably all know. So those are mainly the schools and also the roadblocks that we have.
Yeah, very good points. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brandi, would it also be fair to say that that one of the nice things about keeping our scholars here in the kind of Louisville metro area is just the reach that we can have with them and kind of the connections that we can have to continue to encourage them?
That's a really good point, Corey. So I've noticed that our scholars who stay in Louisville just tend to do better overall. There's a lot to be said for, going out of your comfort zone, but also your comfort zone is usually where you do your best work in some ways and can feel more and be more successful. So so that's why we're developing so many partnerships with schools in Louisville, like Bellarmine, JCTC, Simmons, because we're recognizing that staying closer to home, closer to us has meant success for a lot of our scholars. So we can't deny that. And I think it's something that we will continue to advocate for with our kids who are coming up through the program.
And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge, thank you, Brandi, for the comprehensive overview. But then also on the Bellarmine side, I would be remiss in not recognizing Jordan, Brooke, and Joshua, because we are trying to position ourselves to be able to replicate this. And we certainly appreciate it with Cabbage Patch, but it really serves as a good model. I think the question that Brad posed about other institutions, trying to figure out how we can minimize the debt for those students, the debt load for students upon graduation, but also recognizing the value that these students bring to the campus and, as far as the contributions to the campus. It's an investment on both sides, for the students, but also for the institutions. And so we're really looking forward to being able to bring the two college scholars. Now, of course, we'll always welcome more beyond that, but we are looking forward to that. And just hats off to the work that's been done on the Cabbage Patch side, but also folks at Bellarmine as well. So.
Thank you so much, Mike.
And Brandi, I would add to that, you guys have been true partners, and we are really grateful for that. While it's relatively new in inception, our partnership, this is the kind of, to Mike's words, this is the kind of partnership we're looking for. And you and getting to work with Megan and Corey, it's just been a really smooth, easy, and effective partnership. And I'm grateful to each of you for making it that way.
Thank you so much, Brooke. I appreciate that.
Brandi, if I might, one quick follow-up. Have we had college scholars who have come back to the patch and participated actively with the College Scholar Program? Are we to that point yet?
So we have positions open in the summer, and several of our scholars are the ones who we consider for those positions. So we just had our two currently graduate students, come and be counselors during our summer camps this summer. Javon Brown, he's the scholar who was pictured in my UK part. He works for the mayor's office now, and he said that there's a council there for youth that he would like to have Cabbage Patch scholars on. So that's an opportunity for the high school seniors here that could really parlay into a lot of success. So yes, we are, I think, right at the point where we've sowed those seeds, and now they're bearing amazing fruit and able to help students who are currently coming up through the Cabbage Patch. So yes, we're really proud of our scholars.
I think it's also worth mentioning in that vein that we're finally getting to where we have kind of our first sets of second generation Cabbage Patch scholars. We have a mother and daughter who just graduated together at the same time, the same school, same day. It was beautiful with their associate's degrees. And we're in the position now where one of our previous college scholars, Kim, her son, Greg, is now a college scholar. So she was able to help lift her family up by getting that degree and then being able to send her kiddo through. So we're getting to see some really cool connections there.
I'm sorry, is that Kimberly Glass?
No, Kim Shea.
Okay.
Kim Glass was actually our first college scholar many, many years ago.
Okay.
Got her architecture degree and helped us to design the building. I think you probably saw her photo when you did your tour.
Yeah, so the name Kim just struck a bell. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you all. We are just after 1 o'clock now, so I want to be aware of time, but just a couple. Thank you all for being here, and just want to remind you yet again, it has been recorded, so really would love for you to share it out with people. Our next Cabbage Patch Zoom update will be in October, as we are putting our energy to September's annual auction, which is coming up. And so on October 22nd, I believe, we'll have Reverend Calvin Holloway and Doug Holm will present the details about the annual Christmas assistance program called Christmas Baskets program at the Patch. So thanks again for joining us, and hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks.